something a bit different. Something a bit different. It's going real right now. So no frills, no fancy thing in the suits going into the dressing room and everything, because it's real now. You see, when it's real and really real, it's when we have to now take it back to the core, take it back to the real, and that's why we're not here right now. So, guys, it's an AFCON final, and this is about storylines. This is about storylines. There's one is about destiny, Disney Plus, a Hollywood-like story. The other one is about Keshi. And it's about whoever thought would be here. It's about, how is this manager even in management? So there are parallels between both of these sides, because I think that's what makes this AFCON final so fascinating. Nobody thought either of these guys would make the final. So even look at Ivory Coast. Before a ball was kicked, I was like, Ivory Coast, I know they're at home, but again, the home tax doesn't mean anything. The last time a host nation made the final of the AFCON was in 2006. 06. That's a long ass time ago, bro. So Ivory Coast, again, only winning the AFCON twice, it didn't really mean anything. So the fact that they're here, and you look at finishing third, that's beat them by Equatorial Guinea, their manager stepping down, Faye coming in as literally a completely inexperienced temporary manager, just to see them through, because they tried to get over and out. So that storyline of where they tried to get over and out, and this Faye coming in there as their caretaker manager who played for that 06 team. This was seen as like, look, just be there, not much is expected. And look at where they've now found themselves, beating the defending champions and one of the favorites, beating a very skillful Mali team, and then beating DR Congo. When you look at Nigeria, a team that has grossly underperformed at AFCON. When you just look at the kinds of players that we've had, when you just look at how football mad and football obsessed we are, we've grossly underperformed. And you look at the scenario now, Pesero, everybody wanted him sacked. Nobody believed in him. And I had zero belief in this team. I was vibe out, but I had no belief in this team. I thought, maybe second round, quarters max. But you look at just somehow, some way, it's not been great. It's not been entertaining. It has definitely been against the Super Eagles aesthetic. But one thing it's been very effective. As one thing you cannot argue that it has been an extremely effective performances by Nigeria. Very efficient, very professional. So we find ourselves here. And this is a finely poised final. And I think the beauty of why I like this final is, look, we would have loved it from a footballing sense for it to be Morocco against Senegal, who I believe on paper are arguably the two most talented teams. But the way that this AFCON has gone, and when you look at the storylines, I do like that it's actually Nigeria and Ivory Coast, because the storylines are much more interesting between both of these teams. It's much more interesting storyline. And in a final, it's anyone's game. In a final, it's anyone's game. Last time I saw Nigeria in the final was 2013. And I know how nerve-wracking that was. Very nerve-wracking. And because again, because I know I follow a lot of Nigerians on Instagram, and Obi Mikel has been posting that 2013 team. That was a very good team. A really good team. You had a much younger Omerowo. You had, obviously, an Obi Mikel there. You had a Victor Moses when he actually knew how to play football. Sunday Umba, homegrown player who ended up scoring the winning goal. It was a very, very... Echejele as well, Ayema. It was a really good team, and who played really good football. And that's my thing, like that team under Keshi were superb. And Keshi's coaching was amazing because they played the proper Nigerian brand of football led by Keshi. Under Pesero, it's different. I don't think Pesero, for me, is as good a coach as Keshi. He simply isn't. Keshi was an amazing coach who got treated badly. Again, other politics. But it's a new day, it's a new era, and you just have to accept what is now. Okay, like it isn't. I don't like the football. It's not great football. But when you're in a tournament like this, and when it's the Nations Cup, and there's so much at stake, I don't care how we would do it. All I want is that damn trophy. And the key thing to know is that once you get into a final, the worst thing to do is to lose a final. Then there's no point in turning up. Like, if I make a semi, okay, I can lose a semi, I can lose a quarter, I'm not losing a final. It's one game. I'm not losing a final. Okay, I could lose a semi or a quarter, I am not losing a final. So, because see, for me, this is, okay, the story, the context of the game here. I do feel that this game could play in Nigeria's favor. This is why I say this. This is why I think they could play in Nigeria's favor. Ivory Coast are the host nation. They are going through momentum. And that momentum is building and building and building. Ivory Coast will want to have the ball, and they're going to and they want to now have possession of the ball. So they will be the aggressors, and Nigeria will be the counter-punchers. That plays perfectly into Nigeria's hands. I think Nigeria as counter-punchers have shown to be extremely effective. So if that is the context of this game, beautiful. That will be beautiful for Nigeria for the context of this game. So so when looking at from Nigeria's point of view, get to Ivory Coast, when you look at Nigeria's point of view, I think the key thing is defense. Even into broke, don't fix it. Sanusi, pray he's fit. The team that has been the bedrock of this tournament so far should be that 11. We know what that 11 is, and that should be the 11 coming forth. So I think for Nigeria, the key thing is defense. Know your role, know your roles, know your position. I am confident that if Nigeria are defensively disciplined, it will be hard for Ivory Coast to score. Again, you have to listen to what I'm saying. If they are defensively disciplined, no mistakes, no messing around, Ivory Coast will find it very hard to score against that five-man defense and those three central defenders. It's going to be hard because teams have found it hard to break them down. And I don't think Ivory Coast are the kind of free-scoring team. And now you look at the situation of your boy Vic. For Osimhen, here's my thing. He has contributed. Who won us that penalty against South Africa? It was Osimhen. He won us that penalty. But this tournament is screaming for him to have a decisive moment. And it just feels as if there is going to be a moment for him in this game. And the question is whether he's going to be able to seize it. Because Osimhen, you could write yourself in Nigerian folklore. Along the likes of Yakini, Olise, Amokachi, Amunike, Babayaro, all these guys, you could write your names in the annals of Nigerian history. And it's been a rocky road for him. He's worked hard, his possible, but it's been a rocky road for him. He's missed a lot of chances. And a lot of these chances he would normally put in. But as I always say that, if you break it in every game, but you pop up in a final, what will people remember you for? They won't remember what happened in the semi, the quarter. All people remember is the final. We are reactionary merchants. We are, what have you done for me lately? That's just what we are. So we know what Lookman has done. And Lookman, this is going to be very key, very, very important. Simon Moses putting in a shift. We don't have a midfield. We recycle ball quickly. So the way I think the game will go is going to suit Nigeria, where Ivory Coast, you take the ball, we will suppress, soak up pressure, and we'll hit you on the counter, trying to get an overload on you. That is how we are going to operate, and that's how Nigeria will try to pretty much. That's the tactic they're going to try and put forth. So it could work in our favor. Now, it's easier said than done. It's a final. It's Ivory Coast, and also something that's very key. This game will have no bearing on the earlier on game. Give you a good example. Euro 04. Greece and Portugal were in the same group. Greece beat, and I believe that was the opening game. Greece beats Portugal. Final game, Greece beat Portugal again. They beat them yet again. But the difference here is Portugal had the same, so it was Felipe Scolari all the way through that tournament. Nothing changed. So it made sense that Greece would beat them twice, because I think it's Otto Rehagel, German coach. I think it was Otto Rehagel who coached them. So Greece, it might have been, I think so, Otto Rehagel. So Greece, they were facing the same team. So the same setup in the group stage was the same setup they were facing in the final. For Ivory Coast is different. Ivory Coast have are like a totally different team. That team in the groups were lethargic. They were stale, sterile, boring, void of any personality whatsoever. They've come in, Fire has come in, and he's just breathed so much life into this team. They have a personality. They're playing with purpose. They're playing like they actually have a heart beating inside of their chest. It's a totally different team. So we cannot assume that we're going to be facing the same guys. This is a very, very different team that we're going to be facing. So from Ivory Coast's point of view, the question for Ivory Coast, they know that they're going to have to try to do. The question is, can you break down that defense? They know that we're going to have the ball. We're going to have most of the possession, and we're going to be putting pressure on Nigeria. So what Ivory Coast will want to do is we have to try to be as inventive as possible. Because to break down a tough defense, you have to have imagination. Because if you just pass, what a defensive team wants you to do is pass the ball in front of them. That's what they want you to do. So you don't move anyone around. What Ivory Coast wants to do is let's move these guys around. So what they want is ISO situations, 1v1 situations, beat a man, take a man out of the defense, because what you want to do is to offset the structure of the defense. That's not for what Nigeria want to do. What AFCON, Basi, and Ajayi want to do is maintain our structure. Let them play in front of us. What they don't want to do is come out in a solo situation, because once they come out, then the whole setup breaks up. So what Ivory Coast wants to do is, can we bring out Ajayi? Can we bring out Basi? Can we bring out AFCON? Take them out of their elements, take them out of their structure, offset the structure, thus create space, and now create chaos in that defense. That's what they want. So can they do that? I don't know. Can they do that? I know. So you're going to have to look at a Gradle. Can you do that? Pepe, can you do that? Fofana is going to be huge. He's been one of Ivory Coast's best players. So it's going to be very key to see what it does. So that's the whole tactical thing. But I think beyond that, because this is what there's a tactical side, but the side that I really like the most is the more psychological, mental side. That is the crowd. Will that crowd help or hinder Ivory Coast? Will that crowd be a help to us? You see, me personally, I speak for myself. I would prefer to play as an away team than the home team. Because for me, again, there is for different folks. If I was Ivory Coast, I will feel crazy pressure. So I can only imagine how much pressure those Nigerians felt in that 2000 final in Lagos. It was crazy pressure. In AFCON final in your hometown. When you're the away team, of course, there's a natural pressure of you're in a final, but you know that how much pressure you're feeling, there's more pressure with that home team. And the fact of we're the away team, the haters and everything, that actually gives me even more confidence to try now upset the party. So it's a psychological thing. On the other hand, there are some people that say, oh no, I'd rather play as a home side because that home crowd gives me that extra edge to play better and go further. So for Ivory Coast, it's going to be dependent on how is that crowd going to be used. Because what's going to be very important, this is very key, who scores first. If we score first, how will the crowd react? How are they going to be supporting the Ivory Coast? Are they going to now get agitated? That's going to be key. If Ivory Coast score first, are we going to be able to deal with the maelstrom of noise that could be erupting if they score first? So whoever scores first is going to be pivotal, because that will dictate the atmosphere of the stadium. I mean, guys, we're here, man. We are here. I cannot predict this, and I will not predict this, This feels like it's going the distance. As much as I don't want to predict this, something tells me 1-1 penalties. Something tells me that this game is going to be tight. There are not going to be many chances. It's not going to be open. It's going to be a very tactical, chess-like game. And it's feeling like it's going to go the distance here. It's feeling like it's going to go the distance here. Who needs it more? Both teams need, I think. I think for Ivory Coast, this would be a crazy story. I'm hoping that they're filming this, because if Ivory Coast win this could be a crazy, mad story of from what happened in the group stage up until now. This would be an insane story. This would arguably be one of the most insane AFCON storylines that we've ever seen in the tournament's history, by far. For Nigeria, you have to understand, and again, I don't want to compare this, but I can only speak from my experience. It's hard to put into words how obsessed we are about football. The reason I have a football channel is I grew up in a country where we're obsessed with football. When I was in primary school, nursery school, all we did was talk about football, play football, and do football. Nigeria is a football-obsessed country. We are obsessed. It's a religion. So despite all of our issues and our troubles, the one thing, nothing, not more than any other, the one thing that brings the entire country together, whether we are arguing over religion, arguing over tribes, arguing over politics, the one thing that binds us together is the Super Eagles, is the football team. That's the one thing that binds us together. So I'm sure Ivory Coast, it would be huge for them. I remember the reactions that 2013 win. So especially now with social media and everything, I can only imagine the madness that would be in Lagos if we would win. That's why I would so have loved to be in Lagos during this final, especially if we would win, because I can only imagine how, especially when you just look at the whole issue with SARS, the things that have been happening, to get this Dubinsky, it would be colossal for the country. It would be colossal. And I'm sure, and I hope, because I know that, Okocha is obviously there. I know Kanawanko always gives that, can you believe it's his speeches. I'm hoping that those players, they understand that, this is the biggest game of your lives. This is the biggest game of your lives. Shout out to whether you played league games or USL games. This is the biggest game of your lives. So it's big for both, and for Ivory Coast. Drogba is going to be there. Uncle Drogba is going to be there. Someone called it. We already know he's there already. So, and maybe Yaya may even fly in, because obviously he was with Saudi Arabia Asia Cup. I'm sure I'm positive Yaya Toure is going to be flying in to Ivory Coast. So yeah, man, look, man, it's guys, we're here. I never thought we'd be in this final. I'll keep this like, my mind was thinking, okay, is it going to be Senegal? Could it be Egypt, Morocco? At no point did I think I would be doing a preview of this team I've seen over the last few months, this team that couldn't beat a freaking enclave. I never thought that these guys would be playing a AFCON final. I never imagined it, but here we are, man. Here we are. So look, man, I mean, it's personally, I'd like this to be over in 90 minutes. I can't deal with penalties. Like, that penalty thing was, penalties is crazy. Penalties is crazy. Personally, I would just love, let's just get this over in 90 minutes. But, I feel it's going to be a tight game. I mean, it would be amazing because it's been an amazing AFCON. It has been an absolutely amazing AFCON. And it would be amazing if it's ended up like a 4-3, 3-2. Then that'd be like a showpiece. But I just feel especially the way the knockouts have been going, this is going to be a close game. This is going to be like a 1-goal deficit. If it is over in 90 minutes, it's going to be like a 1-goal deficit. But this is feeling like penalties, though. But I do feel like if for Ivory Coast, though, again, a host nation hasn't won this since 2006. So it's been a long time since a host nation has said, well, what's up, and gotten this debate. So AFCON doesn't really favor host nations that much. So for Ivory Coast, again, and I'm sure, like Ivory Coast, before the tournament started, I don't think they believed they could win. After those groups, after the Equatorial Guinea game, they were out. So for Ivory Coast, it's crazy, because after that Equatorial Guinea game, we're like, oh, we're out. And we've possibly had the most embarrassing performance of a host nation that there's ever been. But the fact that they're here, they're like, wow. So now here's the thing. People say, oh, we're in the final. People thought we'd be here. So if we finish second, that's overachieving. No. Any team that's reaches the final, they're there to win it. They are there to win it. And I always say the worst thing is to lose the final, man. And now goes for both my Eagles and for these Elephants, man. No one wants to lose this game. Nobody wants to lose this game. So all I can say, bro, is good luck to both sides. But as much as I say that, Eagles, man, it's one game. It's the one game of your lives, man. Get it!